In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a web text on your Digication ePortfolio. I'm going to start by opening up my ePortfolio on the ePortfolio link. And here you see that I've already got my template put together and it says Project 3 Web Text, and that is the page that we're going to be working on today. To get started with our web text, we need to start adding some content. To add content, we're going to choose the Add Content button in the middle of the page. And let's add our title. To add the title, we need to use the Rich Text button. So we will add that. And let's stretch this button out by arrowing along the sides and pulling it to be as wide as our text area. And up here you see it's got paragraph and heading. We're going to use heading because we want this to look like a title. So I'm going to just call this web text title. Because we want this to look different than the other headings in the web text, let's highlight it and make it bold. So now we've got our title. Next, let's add a new section. To do that, we're going to click the blue button in the lower right-hand corner, choose Section, and then we're going to click the Add Content button to add a text area. We're going to select the Rich Text button again. We're actually going to move this text box by clicking the Move button. And let's stretch this one out. And we're going to click Heading, and we're going to call this Introduction. You see how the web text title and the introduction look different, even though they're both headings. Next, I'm going to hit the Enter key and click Paragraph so I can type in the introduction to my web text. From there, I'm going to hit the plus sign again, and I'm going to add another section. And I'm going to choose the Add Content button. I'm going to upload an image. To upload an image, you can click the blue plus sign here, or you can just drop and drag, which is what I'm going to do. I'm dragging an image over here and choosing the upload button in the lower right-hand corner. Now I've got my web text started. I've got an image. I want to move this image to the right, so we're going to stagger the images. That way they're not all down one side of the page. I'm going to resize it by clicking the little white dots here, and we'll make that about half size. To keep your proportions, the auto resize button is really nice to use. Next, I have some things to say about this picture, so I'm going to click the plus sign in the lower right hand corner and add more rich text. Since that pops up below, I need to click the move button to move my rich text, and it's not moving because I need to resize it first. So I'm going to shrink that down and I'm going to move it up. And if you notice, there are red lines that show up to help you make sure everything is aligned correctly. This new text box needs a subheading, so let's uncheck the move button and we are going to call this Main Idea Number 1. You'll want to use the actual main idea that you're talking about instead of just a placeholder. I'm going to highlight this. We want this to be a heading again. Come down here. This is back to paragraph. So now we are pasting in some body text, and this will be stuff that you've written. Since my body text is a little bit bigger than my picture, I am actually going to shrink the picture down a little bit. So I'm going to click the Edit button, and I'm going to drag this in and pull this down. So it kind of crops my picture in a little bit, and I'm going to grab this text box and move it over. The problem with this size is that it's cut off some of what I need, so we'll edit our text box again and make the image a little bit bigger. You can also trim down your images if you have a photo editing app that you like to use, but that is not required. All right, I think that's better. Now I'm going to add another section by clicking the blue button in the lower right-hand corner. And we're going to add section. So we've got another section showing up here. We're going to click the blue Add Content button. We are going to add another set of rich text. And we want to kind of keep the sizes similar, so we're going to click the Move button. This one we're going to move to the right so we can stagger our pictures. And let's shrink this in so this lines up with the picture above it. And we'll click Auto Resize. From there, let's add our next image by clicking the blue plus sign in the lower right-hand corner. And we're going to click Upload File and drag our image into the Upload File area. From there, we'll pick Upload. And here is my image. I'm going to click the Move button so I can drag this over to the side. We'll resize it so it fits where we want it to fit. I'm going to drag it up. I'm going to uncheck the Move button. And I'm going to click in my text box to add some text. We're going to flip over to heading, call this main point number 2. Hit the Enter key and let's flip back to paragraph. I'm going to paste in some holder text. And again, my text is a little bit bigger than my picture, so I want to adjust the size of my picture by clicking the Edit pencil so it will match my text box. All right, that does not look too bad. So now I'm going to add the conclusion to my web text by clicking the blue plus sign. And we are going to add another rich text section. We're going to stretch it out to match the whole page. We're going to click heading and we're going to call this conclusion. And I'm going to click paragraph and paste in some filler text. Because we're using an outside source, we want to add another rich text box for our Works Cited entry. So we click the blue button, we tell it rich text, and we're going to call this one Works Cited. And we're going to make that a subheading by highlighting it and coming to heading. And from there, we are going to put in our Works Cited entry. I'm using one from a different page, so I'll paste that in. And I need to make this into body text. And we're going to stretch it out so it fits the page. Right, so we've got our web text mostly put together. Now, notice that there's a lot of big white spaces on this page. What we want to do is edit the sections and what they look like. So we're going to click the Open Settings menu cog on any one of these sections. From here, we are going to change our font. So let's make our font Actor, and let's change our font color to black so it's got better contrast. And I actually don't like that font, so let's pick a different one. Advent Pro it is. From there, if you notice these big spaces, we can change those by selecting padding and making it smaller. So I think I'm going to set my padding, if I click in here, I'm going to drag it down to 10. Okay, 9 and then +1. So there's some padding, but not a lot. I'm going to leave my background color white. I'm not going to include a background image, but you can if you want. And I'm going to keep my text aligned left because that's good document design. And now I'm going to come up to the Customize Style button, and I'm going to click the little paint bucket with the drip on it. From there, I'm going to say Apply to Existing Modules. And I'm going to apply it to everything. So I will hit Apply Style. And so now all of my fonts are the same. I need to go through and edit these a little bit. Like this image is a little bit too big, so I'm going to shrink it down so it fits a little better. And I think I'm just going to leave this one as it is. From there, I noticed that my web text title is not standing out a lot in comparison to my subheadings. So let's make it larger by clicking the little paint palette and coming to Edit Fonts. And I'm going to highlight this web text title font, and let's make it 45. So now my web text title stands out from my other subheadings. And I've got my web text put together. I just need to do a little fine tuning. Once I'm done moving everything around, I need to make sure that I publish the web text by clicking the 3 lines here and coming down to Publish Pages to make sure everyone can see my changes. And you can see that this page is not published yet, so I'm going to select the blue Publish button, and it has published my changes. So that is how you set up your web text on your ePortfolio. Please let me know if you have any questions.